Let's try this standing up thing one more time. What is up, Finn fans? Welcome to being a very, very, very small percentage of people that probably are looking down at me. So I'm doing a different angle with the stand-up camera so you don't see the ceiling. And it's more of an literally the top of the camera is hitting the ceiling and it's kind of angled down and facing me. If this looks better, cool, we'll keep it. If not, I'll keep farting around. But I'm standing this time. And we're going to talk about Zack Seiler. And we're going to talk about if he deserves a contract extension. And I am going to talk about some things. I'm going to give you guys some stats, some information, some data. But also, I put out 2 polls, one here on YouTube and one on Twitter. I'm going to tell you how those polls went. And I'm also going to read some of your comments. So this is kind of an interactive video where I'm going to see what you guys think about the question and probably answer some of your questions or your concerns about Sieler getting a contract extension. So we're going to jump into this. Zack Seiler. So I did the math, right? D-line ranking. So just all of the defensive linemen. When it comes to his cap hit, he's 30th ranked in the NFL. When it comes to his total cash of his contract, he is 64th ranked in the NFL. Kenneth Grant has a higher total cash on his contract, being that he has a fully guaranteed rookie contract. He's 40th. When it comes to his contract value, again, these are all defensive line rankings, he is 46th in the NFL with $30.8 million. His total guaranteed is 50th with $17.7 million. Kenneth Grant is 43rd with $21.95 million. So when you look at Zack Seiler's contract, it's not that high up. But you look at his production, when it comes to PFF, he's tied for 11th with a PFF grade of 78.9 last year. He was second, tied for second among all defensive linemen last year with 11 sacks. So you look at his production, it doesn't really match his contract. And I'm going to get into all that nuance because some of you guys have asked those questions. So first and foremost, we're going to start over on Twitter. Go over to the toxic Twitter streets because I love Twitter. I love a lot of you guys on Twitter. I love having conversations, but there's a group that's just boo. So 1,186 people voted on this. I put this out on June 7th, which was Saturday, and 5,000 people viewed it. Why didn't you vote? Could have just voted. But anyway, you see 94.3% of people want to give Sieler an extension and 5.7% do not want to give Sieler extension. So we're just going to really quickly kind of look at some of the comments and see what people are thinking, right? So Robbie Wade says, I said no because of his age and what he will want. The guy signs a contract, let them play those out and see how it goes. If he continues to produce like he has, fine. We don't need to dump a lot of money into aging. So I replied to him saying, well, how much does he want? That's the thing. And I think that is the biggest thing that is going into this whole debate and this whole conversation about Zack Seiler getting a new contract is people are assuming that Seiler wants so much money, like the most money, top 10, paying. I think I saw one person say, I don't want to pay Seiler top 10 contract. I don't want to pay Seiler 20 to 30 million a year. And I'm like, where are those numbers coming from? Who thinks that those are numbers that are actually going to be paid? And I continue to talk with that gentleman, whose name again is Robbie. And I talked to him about how these players, let me move myself back over. These players just want security. So you see Seiler right now, he has 2 years left on his contract this season and next season. Oh, again, if the Dolphins gave him a contract extension, that $12.447 million would probably go down a little bit. They would obviously finagle some things, have a guaranteed at signing and have a signing bonus and And that 12 million would probably go down, giving us cap space this year. And again, we have a lot of cap space next year, and I talked about that in a previous video. But there's no fully guaranteed. The Dolphins obviously can come in here and they can move on from him, and nothing of the matter, right? Same. There's no negativity from moving on from him. All these players want is security, right? So give him an extra year on the contract, because obviously you have this voided year here. Take this out, put it here. Put it after 2026, take this out, move it to 2026, give him a little bit more money in that guarantee, make him feel a little bit better. He'll be with the team for 2025, 2026 with the potential out after 2026. Don't have to pay him the world. Right now, again, like I said, he's making the 30th in the NFL when it comes to defensive linemen, yet he is second in the NFL among defensive linemen when it comes to sacks. So why not give him what he kind of deserves? Right? So that's that one comment. And again, I said, well, how much is he going to want? Like, how do people know? Unfortunately, they have given extensions to players that were far less deserving and not deserving at all, or because of the circumstance, the extension didn't make strategic long-term or short-term business, since both did away anyway. In the case of Sieler, the extension, because in this case, yes, give Sieler the extension because one, through his play, he's earned it, and two, it makes business. Yes. So there's your yes. No brainer. He's been the anchor. Would love to vote. Would love to know who voted no. Yes, which means walks thanks to Ross. That's the one thing I didn't understand. Ross pays everybody. This isn't a Stephen Ross decision. This isn't Stephen Ross saying, don't give him an extension. Don't give him. What Stephen Ross is saying is your credit card has been revoked, meaning you can't take Tyreek Hill, you can't take any of these other contracts and give them signing bonuses and kind of move their cap space around and move their contract around to create cap space, because those money, that signing bonus and converting this to that comes from Stephen Ross. Giving a player extension doesn't come from Stephen Ross unless they give him a signing bonus. Should have been done already, no doubt. They should have also give Brooks and Smith an extension. I agree. Those are the three guys. This one says, who is extension and what are the Dolphins giving him? I don't know what that means. Does he have 1 or 2 years left on his current deal? I talked about that. Yes, but not till he plays out his current contract. I'll talk about that, because there's this whole hypocrisy when it comes to the contract, because you have to honor the contract you signed to the players, but to the owners and to the team, people are like, oh, he didn't play great, get rid of him. And a single decent reason for the 7%. What kind of question is this? Is this even an effing question? Potty mouth. See? That's what I'm talking about. Twitter streets. Should really is not a question. At some point, you have to invest in some kind. Whoever said no is a division rival fan. Deserves, this is a good one from Coach Jay. He says, deserves, yes, but I'm ready for a new regime. So I say no. Let them decide to keep Big Fella or not. Our timeline as a team could be very different next year. Zach is my favorite player right now, but he deserves a chance to win. Now, this is a very thought out and educated response to this. Instead of saying no, instead of saying F you, instead of saying this or that, blah, blah, blah. Very educated, because what he is saying is, look, Sieler, I know you want a contract extension. And if I'm Stephen Ross, right? And if I feel like I want Sieler here and I want Sieler here for the foregone future, I'm calling up Sieler myself. And I'm going to say, hey, Zach, can you come to my office? I'm going to say to him, listen, play out this year, right? We still have you under contract for next year. Play out this year. You're getting 12 mil. Let's see what happens. And if you have a new coach and a new GM next year, if they give you a contract extension, if not, go find a team to win a Super Bowl. So Coach J51, that's a very educated comment, and I like it. And I'm not against it, right? Because I think he deserves a little bit more money. What else we got here? David says, I say no because I want to see him go beyond what he did last year. We need to commit to D-line when we have the chance, but we need to see D-line hold up post a big payday. each player that plays for Miami that gets paid disappears the next year. He got paid not last year, the year before, and he's consistently been getting sacked. So I disagree with that one, David. The 7% aren't fans. No, we are rebuilding. Trading him for some value because we are wasting less of his time right now. Let's not repeat the X situation. I disagree with that, and I have a whole video talking about, is the Miami Dolphins tanking? Again, we have a lot to talk about after Thursday because they go on a break, and I will get into a full nuance and full breakdown if the Miami Dolphins are actually tanking and how is that happening and everything. But if you think they're tanking, then obviously the answer should be no. It just makes a ton of sense. Then we go to you beautiful human beings. Look, notice I get blurry the further back I go. Focused. Anyway, should the Dolphins give Sieler contract extension? 94% say yes. There's the 6 that say no. And what do the comments say with this one? You have, let me make this a little bigger. Why on earth could possibly say no? Dolphin Denny says, in a word, yes, yes, absolutely, without a doubt. The thing that is tough with paying Sieler more is if you think the Dolphins are in a position to compete for a Super Bowl in these next few years, because he's pushing 30, he's 100% deserving of a raise, but it's tough when the Dolphins are currently in the mix of a rebuild. Again, I have a whole video about that, while also not feeling 100% confident in us being a Super Bowl contender team at this time. He's definitely deserving of a raise, though, that's for sure. Again, Greg, very educated and great response, because if you're in that mindset of what looking at what the Dolphins are doing, and you look at our team and you don't think it's better than 2024 and you think that they are tanking, then this is a very educated and great response, because it's like, what's the point of giving the extension if our end goal is to lose? It isn't. I'll tell you that right now. It really isn't. Yes, 100% he's a leader. Be moronic not to take care of him. A raise more likely. If Stephen Ross could get over the fear of spending money. And I responded with, is this sarcasm? And he responded with a point from either TD or Omar on the collective about Jonnu not getting paid at least double his salary now is not happening because of Stephen Ross. And it makes sense since we are the only team, we are only, or one of the teams that haven't signed a vet to an extension this offseason. If you go back, Brantley McFedridge, if you go back and watch that, you will hear that both Omar and Alan Poupart said that they do expect Jonnu to get a contract extension, and they do expect Sieler to get one as well. TD wants to trade them both because he thinks there's no point because we're going nowhere, which again, it's a very educated comment. But to say Stephen Ross won't, again, I think you guys are getting mixed up, or the two that have commented that, in converting contracts to save money and giving extensions. Two different things, as I explained before. If he's healthy, pay him. He's healthy. Yes, but don't try to pay someone insane contract. Do not need to be the highest paid player in the NFL. Exactly, Jeff. I call him Jeff because that's his actual name, and I horribly butcher his name. Yes. In my opinion, you don't pay him top 10 defensive line money. You don't pay him $20 million a year. But again, he is making 30th in his cap hit of 12.4, and he is 50th in total guarantees. Just bring it up a little bit, especially because he was second in the NFL among defensive lines and sacks. Yes, I extend him, but only up to around 18 million. Again, that's not bad. I voted yes. However, the only reason I would think no is that after getting contract extensions, some Dolphin players have become a headache and liability because they can't be released. So I'm pro extension, but don't add a bulky sign. Sieler has already got an extension. And Sieler, do you think Sieler, the man who, when he got his first extension, still lived in a trailer is going to be like that. Two different players there. Unless you can replace him with someone better, equal. See, and I see where you're coming from with that, Jason, but also you want to build up the defensive line, right? Because we have him and we have rookies. That's it. It's not about moving on from him. You want to continue keeping him and build it up. Yes, but not top 5 money. He's not going to get. I don't even think he's asking for top 5 money. If he is, again, there's no official statement coming out that he's asking for this. But I don't think he's asking. I think he just wants a little bit more than 30th. You know, he just, hey, I'm producing, I'm helping, I'm a leader, I have been loyal. You know, you guys claim me off of the Ravens, this and that. Just want a little bit more. I honestly think, and like I said, I just think he wants security. Give him an extra year, have an out after 2026, give him security, and let him feel like he's wanted here. Take care of your players. Because when we don't, they go. Robert Hunt, Christian Wilkins, you know, I can go down the list of players that Andrew Van Ginkel. This is an Andrew Van Ginkel situation. Like, it really is. Andrew Van Ginkel literally said, I'll take anything. He wanted to stay in Miami. Dolphins didn't offer him a contract. He said, okay, I'm going to Minnesota. And I bet you Sieler's like, I just want to feel secure. Just let's redo this contract. Get me up to 17 million. Give me another 5 million, whatever. Let's redo this contract and blah, blah, blah. Right? And a lot of people are assuming the worst because of Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill, like these different types of players. That's not Sieler. Sieler's not that type of player. Again, the man lived in a trailer for how long? Yes, but he's not worth tough money. Adding Grant was huge. Sieler should be even more disruptive. Adding Grant, Phillips, and Biggers should give us, talking about our 7th rounder. If you watched our defense last 2 seasons, you couldn't possibly be against extending him. Why is this even a question? Yeah, no, it's because, sorry. No, it's going to be X all over again. Extend him when we not going to win anything for the next 2 years. And when we get a new GM and coach for a Super Bowl run, he's not going to be the same DT. We should trade him for something. Again, it's that same mindset. Like I said, who would vote no? I have to do this. There's a few more under it, so hold on. Who would vote no? Learn from the Wilkins mistake. Yes, 100%. If I was him, I'd be looking for an out and go play for a real contender. Take your leadership and outstanding place elsewhere. And then, of course, we also have. They just got it. It's inherited and innated, and it's in them to just trade to. Not even talking about the man. But overall. Yes, Sieler should get a contract extension. Sieler should be with us for a minimum of another 2 years. Give him the extension, have an out after 2026, give him a little bit more money than the 12.4 million, which is 30th ranked in the NFL. That's my thoughts. And that is the thoughts of a good majority of you guys. Again, 90+% on Twitter, 90+% here. And I read some of your comments. And I'm going to keep doing stuff like this, right? If I have a video idea about a certain player, or I have a video idea about something, I'm going to put a poll out. And then I'm going to go through some of your questions, some of your comments, because this was fun. So keep an eye out. If you're on Twitter, keep an eye out. And if you're here, let me show you real quick how it works. You just come over, right? Go like this. The video is going to play. Old Doug. Come over here. You go to post. That's where it was. Also, thank you again. And if you're a member, got videos you can watch, but it's members only. Got videos you can watch. Go watch some videos if you haven't caught up. But that's what I got for you guys today. Real quick, I forgot to give you trivia, so I'm just going to read it to you, and then you can go to the answer. With 42 receptions, who was the leading pass catcher for the first Dolphins team to make the playoffs in 1970? So with 42 receptions, who was the leading pass catcher for the Dolphins to make the playoffs in 1970? It was running back Jim Kick. But that's what I got for you today. Tomorrow is mandatory mini camp. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, I will have coverage from those 3 days. Again, Omar Kelly will be there, Alan Poupart, Joe Shad, Dave Fiornez, all these guys will be there. So I'll be able to give you guys stuff that's happening on the field. If you like me standing up at this angle better, I will incorporate this a little bit more. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. My friends up.